hot days are always better because as much as it can be hot, you can take off your clothes and you get in your skivvies and you jump in the nice refreshing pool with an ice cold glass of sweet tea. That is a peak day right there.
As far as I can remember, this is the first 9.4 I've heard from you concerning your ice cream. One of the churches that we ministered at for a time, it was here in Denver, and that pastor and wife took us to
Casa Bonita.
It's remarkable how famous it is now. It's truly famous even in Europe.
If I'm going to do something like help the poor, needy, my young Gen Z brain goes, oh, well, I can post it, and that way I can get views from it. I can get likes and clicks and social media views and all that. That's not coming from a good place.
Absolutely.
We are live and back at it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Smells a little heck.
Episode number... Do you know what episode this is?
I don't. I'm sorry.
Can you believe me if I said it was episode number 28?
Seems odd.
Seems high.
Have we done that many?
We're doing that many right now. This is episode number 28. So pretty crazy that we made it this far, I will say. I don't know if anyone's listened to episode 27 or if it's come out yet. We're a little behind on that episode. Hopefully it comes out. If not, that may be the forgotten episode. We will see.
Yeah, I think, there were a lot of problems last week. Oh my goodness.
Yes, I was wrapping up turnaround and I was wrapping up working late every night and didn't have the best signal. But now I'm back at it in the studio, i.e. my guest bedroom. So hopefully the quality is better and the audio is better.
Yes.
It's definitely got to be just because improvements on mics and all that. But anyways, shall we dive right into it, Chris?
We most certainly can. I am looking, by the way, for something that I have to talk about tonight, but let's get started.
Sounds good. Well, while you're doing that, I'll let everyone know. Welcome to this week's episode of Duo Jive. Whether you're tuning in for the first time or I've listened to all 28 episodes, crazy. Thank you, by the way, for listening to all the previous episodes if you have. And welcome to Wyoming's #1 podcast for questionable advice, accidental wisdom, and deeply unnecessary storytelling.
Deeply unnecessary. Although I'm starting to feel like a lot of the storytelling that takes place on Duo Jive is necessary.
You think?
Well, I do. Of course I do, right? I guess everybody else may not, but I do. But that's just my opinion. It'd be interesting to find out what some or a few people might feel. In addition to that, I'm okay. Hey, by the way, I've got big shoulders, and
That's good.
I've been humbled a lot in my lifetime. That doesn't mean I don't need any more humbling, right? I mean, we all, I'm sure, need to face some humbling, but I mean, I feel like anybody could say anything to me and it wouldn't hurt my feelings.
You'd be surprised. Social media has a pretty good skill at, digging deep and getting at you. That's why you gotta be careful and limit yourself on reading social media comments. And
I do all of the comments
due
on
diligence.
Yeah. Of course,
good.
we have to know what our listeners / viewers are saying, feeling.
I couldn't agree more. Yep.
And I mean, and even though I agree with that, they don't respond as much as I would like them to, even if it was negative stuff.
But we still have to grow. I will say we're not big and we're not growing crazy, but we still have some growth to do. So if you are listening and you are new, make sure to check us out on all of our socials on Instagram, TikTok. We have funny clips on there from previous episodes.
Yes.
We have funny clips on there from previous episodes and everything. And make sure to leave us a comment and give us a follow. That way you guys can help us grow and we can kind of build a group together and chat with you guys and leave a comment and let us know how we can improve on anything we do. But with that, we're back at it with episode number 28, which is crazy to say. Made it through turnaround. That feels good. Had a crazy, I guess I'm diving right into it. Had a crazy previous weekend here going to Texas, wrapping up turnaround, a lot of traveling, a lot of exploring, experiencing. It was just jam-packed, and I'm actually, for once, glad to be home, kind of settled back.
Glad to be home, huh? I'm sorry.
In good old Wyoming.
Funny.
Why do you say that?
Well, I don't know, man. It's just I'm so used to hearing, and it's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. I'm I'm not slamming it or anything like that, but historically, what comes from you when you get back from a trip is like, "Yeah, I'm back." Right?
Yes.
But you've
Give it
been
another weekend. I'll probably be right back there.
well, okay, alright. But you've been traveling a lot. That's a fact.
Yes,
So,
quite a bit. And this
yeah.
weekend was definitely no exception to that. We went all the way from Wyoming all the way down to Houston, Texas, and did a second wedding for the year down there, ironically. Same in Houston, two different towns.
2nd
Went
wedding for the year?
Yep, so I've been to 2 weddings this year, and this was wedding number 2,
Oh!
but they were both in
Ri
Houston.
right?
So we went back down there and went to the wedding and did some exploring. It was fun, fun time,
Yeah,
got to hang out with family,
yeah.
and overall, just it was a blast. It was a blast being able to go warm up because it's definitely getting cold up here in Wyoming.
It
A
is.
little chilly.
Yes, it is. And
Mhm.
fortunately, our blood is thickening a little bit through the amount of time that we've been in Wyoming, and it doesn't hit us right quite as hard. Of course, you run into them at the plant there, and I run into them on the job site here. All these guys from Texas that aren't used to it, right?
Not at all. Not
And
at all.
the first 28-degree morning, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's cold, it's cold, it's cold," right? And I'm like, "No, no, no, you don't know what
This
cold
isn't
is.
nothing.
It's gonna be here shortly, and you'll get to see it, right?"
Try
But
-10 and windy.
yeah, ooh, right, exactly. My goodness, yeah.
Mhm.
And it's amazing how bitter and just cuts right through you it is.
Those 2 combinations do not go well. I choose cold over wind. Wind is definitely bottom of the list whenever it comes to making your day not enjoyable, especially here in Wyoming. You can have some pretty gusty winds. You're talking 40 to 50-mile-an-hour winds as a light breeze.
Yes,
And,
yes, and yeah.
sometimes it's not fun. All the time, actually.
Yeah, and I agree with you because even though I'm a diehard mountain northern guy, diehard. Did I mention diehard? I'm diehard. But,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, and I'm diehard, by the way. But,
Okay.
it's still not I'm of the opinion, you know, a cold day in the coldest day in Wyoming is better than a summer in Houston. That's just my opinion, of course.
Okay. I
Yes,
mean,
yes.
to each their own. I mean, I'm
Right?
gonna have to unfortunately, you're wrong, but to each their own. You're more than welcome to have your own opinion.
I'm not wrong, though.
Hot days are always better because as much as it's can be hot, you can take off your clothes and you get in your skivvies and you jump in the nice refreshing pool with an ice cold
Sure,
glass of sweet tea.
sure.
That is a peak day right there.
That is peak, but you know what? Unfortunately, those days are few and far between when you live in a city because you're unfortunately consumed with the rat race of making life happen, you know?
The grind don't stop.
No, it does not. And so those things are nice, but rarely I feel. I mean, just think about how many times we went and took advantage of all of the many parks and wonderful things to experience there are in Orlando, right? We lived there for
Mhm.
what? 7 years? 8
Yep.
years?
Actually,
Yeah,
it's
so
13 in total.
okay. We'll see. I mean, it just goes by so fast. But in 13 years, we didn't take advantage of those things nearly enough. Although we're going more than the average person, especially at times because of the fact that I had those contracts with Disney. But that doesn't I mean that nothing it's
We'll
still
probably be saying the same thing here, you know what I mean? Like, it's true, you're very right. I mean, we definitely took advantage, but definitely could have taken advantage more. More than
yeah,
likely, whenever I head out and whether I move down to a different location, more southern, look back and be like, "Yeah, I could have taken advantage of this more, and I could have taken
yes,
advantage of that
the
more."
snow days, the
But
slopes.
overall, I'm definitely glad to be somewhere a little bit warmer. I do enjoy getting out and getting, my little escapes, like going to Texas, for example. It was fun, and
Yes,
it didn't end there. It didn't end. Whenever we flew back into Denver, we got to see you and did a
true.
little bit of weekend fun with another weekend day to where we went and checked out a pretty, I don't know if it's quite super famous, but a pretty popular spot in Denver.
Remarkably famous.
Is it famous?
Well, remarkably. Yes. I mean, it's just
Okay.
kind of amazing how famous it is.
So you knew about it before going to Denver.
Well, no, I didn't find out. So your mom and I traveled evangelistically from church to church way back. When was that? That was the 95, 96 era. And one of the churches that we ministered at for a time, it was here in Denver. And that pastor and wife took us to, you're going to reveal the
Casa
name?
Bonita.
Casa Bonita. That's right. And it's remarkable how famous it is now. It's truly famous even in Europe a little bit. And, it's funny. I've been there, what, 3, 4 times now. And in all of those times, it has changed dramatically. It started out for me really, really good. No, the food was not amazing by any stretch of the imagination. It never has been. But the experience, however, was phenomenal. That experience has changed, by the way. It has changed.
How so?
Well, so they've got seating, and maybe that seating's always been there, but they have seating called, well, they've got it divided into 2 categories, maybe 3, where it's
No,
premium.
it's 2 categories, and it's premium
Okay.
and it's standard.
Okay, premium and standard. So if you're in standard, you can't really see what's going on in the water at all. Really. You have to get up and you have to walk around even if you're in the middle of your meal, right? So it's not something you really take advantage of while you're eating. And maybe you have just eaten in the right spaces, but they never had that when I've been there in the past. And
I wonder
so
if you've just gotten lucky.
no. No, matter of fact, we
You
should
think
ask
this
your
is
mom.
all new?
Yes, it
Yeah, I'm
is.
curious.
Yes, it is. It is. So what did Casa Bonita reopened for the first time in a couple years this past year, right? Not 20.
2022, I believe.
No, that was when it was shut down.
2023.
Yes. Okay.
2023.
Yeah. And so they shut down in 20, they reopened in 23. From that time is when they started by appointment or reservation.
Yep, reservation only.
Yes. Yes. And it was never like that in the past. Never was. Matter of fact, I mean, when Pastor
Steve.
Hernandez and his wife took your mom and I to Casa Bonita in 90. We were here in 97, I want to say. But when they took us to Casa Bonita for the very first time, we walked right in.
Now, do you think that that'll change once the hype dies down? I know it's been about 2 years since, but, I mean, for them to have I mean, there was security, there was screenings, there was the reservation. I feel like the hype behind Casa Bonita has grown to a point to where they really have to mitigate for the time being until it kinda dies out enough to where they can allow walk-ins, possibly soon. You don't think?
Well, I want to say yes, but I mean, I don't know. Do you put in all of those protocols to gain access to the restaurant? Do you put in all those protocols unless there's a cause for it? And I don't see the world changing to a place where it's, what is all that security for? Wanding you in a screening and doing everything but patting you down for weapons, I'm sure, because they weren't doing it
Safety.
for cell phones. Right. So safety, weapons predominantly. And so and Casa Bonita is also in a part of town that is not necessarily an affluent by stretch.
So, yeah, overall, I feel like Casa Bonita, it was different. I agree. I remember I went one time with you previous as well, and
Yep.
it was it was more unique. Well, first of all, it was our first time going, so it was a new experience. And like whenever you go for the first time, it's always the most memorable. It's what makes you come back. Is you go to
Absolutely.
and do something that is memorable enough to be like, oh yeah, I got to come back and do it again.
Yes.
And Casa Bonita did that, but that
Yes.
was pre-closing down and revamping. With the
Yes.
revamp, they've really gone to an extent of being a show production, and I don't know if that's a good thing. It was very similar to what I remember going this time around, but the difference was, and I will say this is the one flaw that I had, was I went to get more sopapillas and they limited me. I could only eat a couple before they said, "You can have no more," and I was like, "I thought it was unlimited."
Well, it was. That's another thing that has changed. The menu, just all of it. In other words, everything was unlimited. You wanted more tortillas, wanted more beans, wanted more chicken. It was all unlimited
It was a buffet.
before. Now, it's not like that. The only thing that's unlimited, or the only things that are unlimited, are the chips and the sopapillas. Yeah,
And
it's
not
kind of weird.
even. I went to go get sopapillas and they only let me have a couple. before saying, "You're cut off, you're done."
Okay. Well, and you know what they limit it to, they said they limit it to is 4 sopapillas per person. So there would have been 16 at
Mhm.
our table, and since I didn't have any, you should have still been able to get quite a few, but I think we
She only
neglected.
brought 2 servings.
I know, of 4 each. So, yeah, that was it. She
No,
only
no,
brought
no,
half of 'em. Missed that by a bit. Yep.
be
You know,
prepared to be, limited on your sopapillas.
absolutely, and some changes are just horrible, you know? I mean, that's
Mm.
just the way it is. Because of people, abusing things quite frequently, changes take place that we don't enjoy, and that's one of those. Apparently, they didn't do too well economically by making the entire menu unlimited and adhering to that, right? Just loading people up. People want more, load them up, even if there was a wasted set left on the table. Right now, I was
Well,
excited
I
that
don't know. I feel like this is better. It's more dinner-esque rather than buffet. And I'm gonna be honest, the buffet was a bit much there. I feel like, when you have everything going on, sitting down for a moment and just eating real quick and then going back and, doing stuff, it's well within reason. So having it that style to where you get the unlimited chips and sopapillas, if that was the way, it's perfect. You got those two in betweens, you get your meal, and then you call it a day. And it's not too much. You know what I mean? You can have
yeah,
too much of a good thing.
yes,
So
yes,
kind
and I
of
didn't leave there taking too
limiting.
much. No, I was thankful for that.
Yeah, 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 that's yeah, enjoying the overall experience, the food, the atmosphere, the ambiance, the diving. It was very weirdly enough, it was very, reminiscent of the previous one in that regard, and that was cool.
Yeah, yep,
Overall, it's definitely kiddie, so taking your kids are gonna love the heck out of it. It's a lot of fun for
yes,
them. If you're an
yes,
adult, you're going for the food,
yep,
which is okay.
yeah,
Sopapillas, out of this world. I love
yep,
sopapillas, especially
yes,
whenever you throw on some extra honey, call it a
yes,
day, but
yes.
overall, decent food, fun. I had a fun time.
As did I, and I could tell. Link, well, of course, couldn't see enough. Right, there was so much going on, and of course,
Even with how he was feeling.
yeah,
Unfortunately, little man was sick that day. We
yes, he
went to
was.
Casa Bonita, was getting sick,
Yep,
and even with that, going and exploring the mines and the caves and the arcade,
yep,
all of that stuff,
yep,
Lincoln was still a trooper and was still kinda, like, just taking it all in, enjoying,
yep,
and, it hit him
yep,
like a ton of bricks afterwards,
yep.
all of that excitement and just getting sick.
Poor guy.
But he's getting better. He's doing better.
And Casa Bonita was a good idea. Thank you very much for setting that up because I didn't wasn't thinking about it at all. And going was a blast.
Yes.
I'm looking forward
Who knows?
to
We
it.
might be back. No
Yeah.
plans, but we might be back, in future, maybe if they do another renovation. Be wary, another thing, it is $40 a person on the weekends, so have your pocketbook ready. Have some money set aside because if you want queso, that's extra, if you want a drink, that's extra,
Yeah.
so just be
Yes.
prepared.
Yes. Be prepared. I mean, yeah, amen. Because that's definitely something someone doesn't do quite often. However, I wasn't expecting the price to be like it was, right? Because apparently the $40 price doesn't include the meal.
Yes, it does. It does include the meal, but it doesn't include additions like guac, queso, like beverages that aren't soda. So alcoholic beverages and stuff like that. Also, whenever you go, they automatic, regardless of table size, whether you're 4 people, 2 people, 6 people, 8 people, they add a 15% gratuity. So between getting additions, between getting the drinks, between the gratuity automatically added, it does add up to the price that we paid, which was
It
within
added up
reason,
really
but still
fast.
expensive.
Yeah, and it added up really, really unexpectedly fast. Because I mean, to go
Mhm,
from $40 a person, 4 people, right? That's 160, and then you take that away from 235. What is that? That's $70 more in
mhm.
drinks, chips. In my opinion, that was a bit.
Gratuity, tax.
Yeah, yeah. It was unexpected, but it was it's what do you do, right? But I mean, again,
That's
it
Casa
was worth
Bonita.
it. Yep, it was worth it. It was worth it. We didn't go there for the food. We didn't go there just for the food. If so, it would have been
No.
that would have been disappointing.
A letdown.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but overall, it was a cool experience. I'd recommend checking it out if you get the
absolutely.
chance. Just be ready because it can be a little pricey, but cool
Yep,
experience in Denver
yep,
nonetheless.
yep.
And we did try sopapillas, but that wasn't the dessert that it was intending to try. There was actually a couple desserts that I tried this week, and that wasn't the one I was focused on. And I
Really?
intentionally tried to bring up on the podcast.
Okay. So sopapillas weren't the dessert that you were hoping to make happen for the sake of the podcast. What was the dessert that you were
Well,
bringing?
while we were in Houston, there was a place called Creamistry, and it's like a play on words because it's a mix of cream and chemistry.
Huh?
And this place uses nitrogen to create ice cream, and then they throw in all the toppings in a big old mixing bowl, and it is pretty stinking cool. I don't know
Creamistry.
if it was the nitrogen, and it's called Creamistry, but that nitrogen I think made it extra creamy, like really
What?
creamy. And the way
Really?
it kinda it glued it together, it was like a glue almost in a good way, like a frozen glue. And when you want ice cream, that's pretty dang good.
It
I was a
sounds
fan.
wild. I mean, it just sounds
Yes.
it sounds like it can't even be good for you. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Well, I don't know if it was, but I wasn't thinking about that at the time. I was just thinking about I'm gonna get a big old bowl of the Cookie Monster flavor nitrogen made ice cream, and it did not disappoint.
It did not.
No. No.
Okay.
No, I was definitely intrigued. I will say I went in there with the intention of trying it for the podcast to talk about, but at the same time, I was gonna try it anyways because of just how unique and how cool and how much I love ice cream. So,
All right.
there's that, and
So
then
it was
when I
unique. It
went
was
in there and
cool.
saw that
It tasted good.
it was. It
Okay.
was really cool. Like I was saying, it's like a thicker ice cream, but it wasn't like you know how you can have ice cream that's frozen and it's almost too frozen, like you try to stick a spoon in it, it's too hard.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It was far from that. It was the perfect consistency to where you stick your spoon in and it just
So
unglues itself, like it falls apart.
so I'm going to compare that. Frozen so hard that you can't put the spoon in it. Bluebell. Every freaking time. Bluebell is
Bluebell
there.
does that to you?
Yes. I've never been able to taste Bluebell without letting it sit out for 15 minutes, it seems. But then the one that I can stick a spoon in, no matter when I get it out of the freezer, is Blue Bunny.
Blue Bunny. Ooh, wow. I haven't had Blue Bunny in quite a while.
I ate it today,
Did you?
strangely enough. Yeah, but I'm
What do
saying
you mean strangely? You did it for the intention of trying for the podcast, right?
absolutely. So I made it a point to go
Sure.
someplace and get some Blue Bunny just so that I could try out. Number one, Blue Bunny has a flavor, salted caramel, and if caramel's in it, you know I'm a freak.
That sounds like
So
you.
yes, absolutely. But it was a salted caramel extreme, I think it was. But because it had also in it the caramel, the moose track caramels, the like little bunny
No.
chocolate chocolate
It
covered
had the
caramel.
chocolate chunks with the caramel in them.
Yes, yes.
Dude,
All I could
I
say,
dig that.
yes, yes, yes. And all I could say is I didn't worship it. That's all I can say because it would have been
Well,
wrong
that's
for me
good.
to
I'm glad to
worship
hear.
something other than God,
But
right?
yes, I
But it was
agree. But
there.
you enjoyed it close
Immensely,
to it
immensely. Yeah. I
enough
mean,
to be your favorite.
boy, that's hard. I mean, my brain keeps going back to my favorite being the apple pie ice cream at Johnny's at that little drive-in right just outside of Chicago in Marseille. It was, it was, you remember, I was a little
One for the
starstruck.
books.
I was in awe. I was starstruck, and it was delish. But then, but this would be close. Absolutely. It would be down there. So
Interesting.
I
So,
give it an 8.59. And
ooh,
what did I
okay, okay.
and what did I
Now that
give
you
the
mention it,
apple
I forgot to rate mine.
what did you
Ooh, I
rate?
don't know.
Well, you got to.
As far as Creamistry,
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I got the Cookie Monster, which was a blue ice cream, and color always makes flavors taste better. So it was
Yep,
blue and it was very good.
yes.
I want to say it was a vanilla, maybe a cookie dough, but it had cookie chunks in it and like Oreo. Chips Ahoy, all that good stuff, and then it had some, like, cream in it, and it being nitrogen infused, it's like it almost melted too quick, but not quick enough. It's so weird to explain, in a way to where it's comparative to ice cream, but different. I'd
Okay.
probably rate that thing, surprisingly, a 9.7. No, 9.4, 9.4.
That was getting close. Okay.
It
9.4 out of
was, it
10.
was, it got a little too close,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I've heard you rate anything a 9.4. I don't think I have.
except for Cold Stone cake batter. Cold
Y-
Stone cake batter, whether it's with mix-ins or without, that is a 10 all the way across the board.
Really?
Oh, crap. Nope, yep, so there's 2 for me. There's 2 different flavors that compete head to head for the number 10 roll, and that's
Okay.
cake batter ice cream and then crazy
Okay.
cookie dough bluebell. Now that you brought up bluebell, crazy cookie dough bluebell is definitely up there, probably
Really?
a 10 as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bluebell.
man, both of those are top t
And see, Bluebell doesn't do it for me at all. I
You just
really
haven't
have
found your flavor yet.
maybe, but it's always
When they
so.
introduced the caramel salted caramel chocolate chunk.
Well, because it's caramel, it's gonna hit me. But I mean, even caramel can hit me wrong when it's too cold, and
Yep, that's fair.
that's one of the things about Bluebell is it's too stinking cold, man. I just
And I
can't.
think that's what helped with the nitrogen. I think them doing it, them building the ice cream right in front of me, they were able to control the temperature compared to putting milk. And that's another thing is Bluebell, I always consider it a top, a higher end ice cream, but if it's frozen and too cold for you, that makes me start to question, is there too much water in it, or is there not enough milk or cream in it for it to counteract the frozenness? Because that's what would help.
That I don't know because it's made in Texas, and you're breathing water the whole time you're there. You mean? Is that why you're saying that?
No, I mean, like, the ingredients that they use in Bluebell, the heavier the cream, the heavier the milk, the harder it is to freeze in comparison to it getting icy to where it's like,
So it
it's
doesn't have
icy
much
because it's too
cream in it,
frozen.
right? Right.
Yeah, it
I
needs
get
more
it.
cream, which is
Well, I
crazy
think it's
because Bluebell is notorious for being creamy.
it is. Well, they advertise it. It- They advertise it. I, I don't know. I don't know that Bluebell can really succeed in the creamy category. I'm sorry, they just can't in my book. Don't get me wrong. I like Bluebell ice cream, but it's not a high rater. It's around the 4 or 5 with their best flavors. For me, they're around a 4 and a 5. If they make it so that it's
Okay.
creamy and not so cold that you can't put a spoon in it, man, dude, they'd probably get me sometimes. But Blue Bunny has that softer ice cream mastered, dude. They've got that softer ice cream down to a science. So
Would you say
apparently,
custard is creamier than Blue Bunny or Bluebell?
traditional, traditional, yeah, yeah, it is historically. Some people will make like Andy's, for example. Okay, Andy's I tried a couple weeks ago. It's right down the road from me here. It's close to the job site on Tower Road, and I loved it.
And we
I
talked
mean,
about that in a previous episode,
yes, yes, and I
so
give it a
go check
high.
that out.
Yep, yep.
Yes, you did. You guys need to go back and listen to that. Which episode? Episode 25, 26. Just listen to them both. And if you haven't already, let us go back and watch that and then come back to this point exactly. That way you know what rating Chris gave the custard and determine if it was better than Blue Bunny. I think you gave Blue Bunny off the top of my head a higher rating. But now that I think about it, the
I've got
custard I've had custard, but not from Andy's. Custard is the
yes.
closest thing I can compare the nitrogen Creamistry ice cream
Uh,
to. Mhm.
So the nitrogen infused Creamistry ice cream was where in Houston? Where was it?
The Woodlands Mall.
Okay. I mean, what a place, all right? That's a good place to be. The Woodlands got a lot. Gonna have to check it out next time we're down there
Yep, and then
for sure.
I'll give Blue Bunny a try.
Yes,
We'll compare notes.
yes,
We'll circle back.
yes, yes. So I made a mistake today. Now, with Blue Bunny, you can't make the mistake that you can most certainly make with Bluebell. And that Bluebell, Blue Bunny. And that is when I got home with it, I put it in the fridge because I wanted to really capitalize on that soft texture of it, right? And it got too soft, but it was still good. It was
Was
really
it
good.
was it
Yes, it was. I could just about drink it like a shake. And maybe that's another thing that causes me to like it is I love shakes. I'm a shake freak, especially if it's got caramel in it. So, you know, some of that going on there.
so yeah, there's our dessert try-ons for the week. We or dessert taste tests for the week.
And the first
Definitely unique for the both of us.
and a first, really, as far as I can remember, this is the first 9.4 I've heard from you concerning your ice cream.
Yes. I really want you to check it out. I know it's going to be a while before you or I are back in Texas, and if we're in Texas together, who knows when that'll happen.
Right,
Hopefully it's sooner
right,
than later, or we can
right.
find so there are other I don't know if Creamistry is a franchise, but I do know that there's other ice cream nitrogen places.
Infused.
So maybe Denver
Gotcha.
might have one,
Yeah.
and we need to do some
Yes.
investigating and research
Yes. And
because 'cause we're gonna
yes.
be there in a couple weeks.
Yes, you are. Okay, good. Let's research that and include that into our
Okay,
time spent here. Yes, absolutely. I like it. Well, I'll be excited to get to try that
agreed.
out. And,
Now
Denver
earlier
should have.
you were saying something about I would assume so, I would definitely assume so, but earlier you were saying something about you had something on your mind and you wanna talk about it. What was that? It's been sitting on my mind now.
Well, you know, uh, I saw something today and I shared it with the family, like I normally do. Right. By the way, have you seen all the Northern Lights? Did you step outside and see any of them?
Yes.
Okay.
So, that just happened. I guess
Yes.
hold your thought one more second.
Okay.
When we first started this podcast tonight, on the night of November 11th, 2025, I got a call from my sister saying, "Go outside." And here in Wyoming, she's at the top part of Wyoming, I'm at the bottom part, and we both could see the northern lights. It was like a pink, red, green hue that kind of
Yes.
flowed like waves in the sky,
Yeah.
and it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's the biggest I've seen in I've been in Wyoming since 2012, 11, 12, and I've
Yep.
never seen the Northern Lights like you could see or could see them tonight during the Northern Lights reveal in
Can you see
Wyoming.
them in Denver?
No, I couldn't see them. I stepped outside. I have a pretty good view of that region, right where you guys were able to look, but still not able to see it. No, just far enough. Just
It's just a
far
little
enough.
too south.
Yes, it was. But that's okay. I've
Well, I can tell
seen
you yeah,
a bunch of pictures.
I can
Liz,
tell you that even mine wasn't as good. The one up north, the Lizzie, hers up in way up in the top of Wyoming near Yellowstone, hers were even better, of course. I mean, the more north, the brighter they're gonna be, being the northern lights, and, it was pretty captivating. It was pretty cool. There was, like, a nice little hue for us down here, and then it was vibrant and flowed like waves up there.
yep,
Amazing.
yep. And if you want to see
Unique,
what Lizzie,
pretty
what
unique, incredible thing to see in Wyoming.
absolutely, like I said, I've been here since 2011, 12, and I haven't seen that. It was pretty astounding. So tonight was that night. I don't know if whether or not it's going to be around tomorrow night, but if you want to see, by the way, Lizzie's, you can go to Lizzie Cronenberger. Just figure it out. Figure out how to spell Cronenberger. But yeah, go to Lizzie Cronenberger's
Yep.
Facebook page, and they're posted just amazing. I'm sure that just they're not on just her page, right? There are going to be a
Do you
lot
think
of
she'll post
people.
them on the Busy Bith?
I don't know. Is there a busy bit?
Yeah, it's her one that she posts of Wyoming, of the wildlife, the naturescapes.
There's like what Bizz or what? How do you spell it?
Yeah, it should be Bizzibeth.
Well,
Photos.
photos. Oh, it's got photos in it. Hmm.
Well, it's busybith.photos.
Dot photos. Dot photos. Bizzibeth dot photos because nothing's coming up for me, but I may already be,
Well,
you
we
know,
don't have to linger on that. We probably just lost like half of our viewership lingering. Anyways, go check out Lizzie Cronenberger.
I'm trying to get rid of
It's pretty cool if
correct.
she did post it.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's not coming up for me, so we'll have to go a different route to get there. But tonight I did share, or today actually, I did share something that, in my opinion, was pretty impactful, but I cannot find it right at the moment. It's not coming up for me, so I'm just gonna
Well,
leave it.
while you're searching that, you're good. While you're searching that up, I can kind of bring back, that's something really cool, and I definitely should appreciate more being in Wyoming. When it comes to Wyoming, I have a love-hate relationship with it because I'm not the most outdoorsy, and Wyoming is very, very outdoorsy, very rural, very minimalistic here. And
Yes,
when it comes to nature and stuff like that, it's captivating. For example, tonight, just off the whim, we were seeing the northern lights, and then
yes.
tomorrow's supposed to be a meteor shower. So if it is,
Really?
hopefully, I'll be able to witness that. And yeah, hopefully that's what they're saying. I haven't witnessed one myself, so I'll have to go check it out. Fingers crossed I get to see something. Being in Wyoming, there's there's a lesser amount of light pollution compared to most
Yes,
especially major cities, but other states
yes,
because there's bigger cities, more population and all that.
yes,
So that lesser light pollution, you're seeing the Milky Way, you're seeing these
yes,
northern lights pop up, you're seeing
yes,
the meteor showers and such, and it is breathtaking. It's
yes.
one for the bucket list. That was
Well,
always a bucket list of mine growing up, and seeing it, being able to mark it off was pretty cool, and not even
yep.
have to leave my state.
That's true. And I mean, what states can you go behind like Larry's old house or Charles and Connie's house up on that uplift in those little foothills of the mountains and sit there and look at stuff like and you're right next to town, right? But see stuff very, very, very bright stars and formations and everything that I could imagine what it would look what those lights would look like tonight from that hillside. I don't know if you
Yeah,
remember we sat
especially
up
just
there.
being able to it's just making the trek.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if you remember, we did that for the 4th of July one year. Sat up there to
Oh,
watch the
yeah.
light.
Yeah, we did that a couple years.
Yep, yep. And but like you said, there's no light pollution, relatively speaking, and even less for some reason in Wyoming. I guess there's so much darkness. But yeah,
Yeah, well, you're talking a lot the cities here are a lot smaller, especially the one that I'm in, which is pretty significantly smaller, and
yep,
then
yep,
on top of that, there's no major cities nearby to kind of emanate from a distance, so
yep,
you're just surrounded by darkness, almost like, City of Ember, if anyone out there has ever seen that.
yeah,
That is
yeah.
a very similar
Good
experience. You
comparison.
leave and you don't know what you're gonna find out there.
Yep,
You could
yep.
find a jackalope for all we know. That's actually the probably when you're gonna see a jackalope.
That's funny. That is very funny. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to see it, it's probably there, right? Because there's nobody there. There's no lights, no nothing. And it's one of the things I've always been fond of as far as Wyoming is concerned. I have. I've always been
Yes.
fond of it.
Yes, you appreciate that.
Yes, it's not hard to do that at all. Yeah. Well,
It's good.
earlier today, I had this thing in my mind where I was going to talk to you, or more or less ask some questions. What do you feel your generation feels is our responsibility, morally, humanly, and godly? What is our obligation to the poor? Do you feel like it's the right thing
Dang,
to
that
do?
is quite
To
the topic change. You just went hot and heavy with it, didn't you?
well, it was on my brain,
Went
man.
straight from talking about Northern Lights to
I
that.
did,
Boom.
I
That
did, but
is
I needed
quite
to
the
talk about it.
transition.
Yeah, and I'd love to know what our listeners feel, but I heard, just in case no one's ever heard of Josh Howerton. Matter of fact, I would like to say, remark this, please, if you will. But if there's an opportunity to, I'll send you this video, and if you can insert it in post, please do. But
Okay.
this video from Josh Howerton today was talking about that, and he was talking about this generation making such a massive commitment creating a massive commitment to the concept of feeding the poor and taking care of the homeless and all of these things. What do you feel about all?
Well, first of all, per me, what I've been fed on social media and everything, I'm not familiar with Josh Howardson.
Yes. Yeah, he's a preacher, a young guy, wears ball caps.
Okay, I'm not familiar with him too heavy. I might probably get flooded with him now that we're speaking about this and my phone's right here. We'll see. But right now, I'm not too familiar with who he is, but that, that should tell you maybe I'm separate from my generation, but that might be a sign as to, my generation not being fully connected. And when it comes to the poor, I don't know. I feel like it's a dangerous game because if you're going to help the poor, especially with my generation, you want to do it while posting it, which means you're kind of gaining something from it, which is not should not be the intention. And you feel as if,
Say
oh
that
well, if I'm
again.
going to
Say
be
that
doing
again.
something like helping the poor, whether it's giving them food or giving them, what do you mean?
What you just said, without getting something from it, as far as
Yes, without
posting it?
getting something from it. Basically, yeah, like if I'm going to do something like help the poor, needy, my young Gen Z brain goes, "Oh, well, I can post it and that way I can get views from it. I can get
Oh, yeah,
likes and
absolutely.
clicks and
Yeah, yeah,
social media
yeah,
views and all that." And that's not coming from a good place
absolutely.
because you're trying to gain something from it and you're not just helping them from the kindness of your heart, which
One
is definitely
100%.
lacking in today's day and age, in today's generation, because they feel that there is a sense of entitlement and they are owed something.
Okay. Our this generation. Fascinating. Well, there's a big push and there's a big undertone, if you will, from your generation. And Josh is feeling what I'm feeling, and that is that there's the sense of forced obligation. In other words, we have a responsibility to take care of the poor, is what Josh was saying from this generation, saying government needs to be doing it because nobody else is doing it, right? But Josh did some research and found that when the government does it, it's actually not appreciated at all. And as a result, it promotes more poorness, more of the mindset of being poor, more of acceptance of being poor and reliance on the government when the government does it. But when the church does it, which was the original design, God set it up so that the church would take care of the poor. And this is where we as a country, one of many, of course, but one of the areas where we dropped the ball and messed up and we lost favor with God. When the church does it not out of obligation. The church does it because of a desire, a responsibility to internal desire, responsibility to help people. You know, it's more from compassion. It is so much more from compassion when the church does it. And I saw that and I thought, man, if young people heard his perspective, this perspective on it, they'd probably throw a fit because there's so much of a push to make sure that the government's doing stuff, whether it's assisting the poor. Food stamps are a good example, right? The church doesn't have to do anything. Why? Because the government's doing it. They're doing it really, really bad, right? But as a result, this
Hmm.
thing has gotten messed up. And I would love to know that our listeners had a chance to hear that, quite frankly. Your thoughts?
Okay, okay, yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay, so you just wanted to kind of bring it to light.
Absolutely. And quite possibly create some
Okay,
conversation
well,
because
I mean, that's cool.
our
That's
listeners
that's a
do
hot topic.
respond to things. What's that? It's a hot topic?
I mean, that is a hot topic. I mean, anything political is a hot topic. So
Yeah, that's
this
true.
being a political situation because of the government, it is a hot topic, and especially talking about today's generation or younger generation and their relationship with helping the needy, helping the poor, and stuff like that. It can be a love hate relationship because why am I obligated to help someone else that doesn't want to try? Because unfortunately, like you said, the government does a really poor job at helping aid. And what they do is they create more harm than good because people can grow dependent on it. So now you assume, me being younger, a little more motivated, that these people are just mooching off of the system. And because they know that they can
Yes.
do less work and they get away with more because of the way the system is. And I go and I grind and I work and I don't get anything from it. It takes forever to reach some goal or something like that. And why am I obligated to help them when I know they're just mooching the system? Why can't they help me even though I'm doing better?
Well, especially when you know what the government is doing with our money when it comes to that situation. And then that was the point
Oh yeah,
of
well, I
the
mean, the money's never going the right way, and
Right. Well,
especially whenever
okay.
it comes to the
So,
government. It doesn't help that we're printing it out.
well, no, exactly. First, we're printing it. Secondly, we're just throwing it out there, right? And we're rewarding people for bad behavior. People are getting a hold of the
That's exactly it.
genuine desire that we Americans have agreed to do by letting the government do these things. They're getting a hold of it and they're abusing it. They're taking that money and doing things and going places and experiencing things in life that they never should, being in that state in their life. You know, they should have the fundamentals, they should have the necessary elements, but the rest is meant to be achieved by sacrifice, personal sacrifice, and struggle and trying to get someplace. And that's all being removed by our system now. And that it was very, very impactful, this message as it came from Josh this morning. He was sent a text or a message or something for his podcast about with this question, and he responded to it very, very, very well. Hopefully, you'll get a chance to infuse that video into this podcast.
You gotta watch this.
Why, when Jesus talks about feeding the poor, it's Christianity, but when a politician does it, it's socialism? Well, actually, there's really, really good reasons for that. Let me explain this, because well-meaning but naive Christians don't know how to respond to that. No, let me just point this out. Using the government to forcefully take other people's money against their will and redistribute it was not a mark of the early church. The early church was generous to the poor, with their own money. I will just say this, like, in general, and I'm more talking ideologically and not as much politically, all those overlap. In general, what you get is conservatives, data shows, are about 3 times more generous to the poor with their own time and money. So what you get a lot of times is, like, people who are secular progressives, they want to brand themselves as the generous ones when actually they're not. They're generous with other people's money. Yes. It's like, they're like, I'm really generous, so I'm going to vote to take your money and give it to other people. That's not generosity.
That's not generosity.
So, number one, the early church was generous with their own money, and B, they did it of their own volition. Yes, Christians and churches should 100% be those things. Let's not overcorrect against socialistic redistribution of wealth to the poor. And then we actually cultivate hearts of selfishness and callousness towards the most vulnerable people in the world. Let's not do that. Because what you're seeing is the more the government does it, the more poverty there is, and the more people that need it. Here's why. You're not alleviating poverty, you're incentivizing it. What's happening is the government is removing incentives from the human population towards hard work and ingenuity, so it's actually incentivizing poverty.
I'm fairly confident by the way our audience responds in the comments and what have you. I'm fairly sure that we have a pretty broad demographic represented. You know what I'm saying? Some you're in your demographic, some in my demographic, and beyond. Not age-wise, of course, but you know what I'm saying? I believe we're
I
represented
feel
in.
like age-wise, I feel like the demographic is definitely it's pretty I mean, it's not big. I'm gonna be honest, we're growing slowly, we're moving slowly, which the grind don't stop. But
That's right.
with that, we're probably getting a little bit of people that are my age, a little bit of people that are your age, and they're
Yes.
kind of fusing
Yes.
together, and I'm curious to see where it goes, to say the least.
Yes. The chemistry of it makes good ice cream. Okay, that wasn't funny. Anyway, okay, good.
That was a dad joke. Somebody out
Yes,
there
it was.
laughed. It
Yeah,
wasn't
well,
anybody my age, but it was somebody out there laughed.
it wasn't my age, huh? Wasn't your age? Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm used to share. By the way, I do this at work all the time. I'll share a joke and then intentionally it won't be funny, and intentionally they won't laugh, and then intentionally I can respond to it, and then it becomes funny,
And
right?
that's what you get amusement from.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that sounds like a true dad mentality.
At their expense, of course. Yeah. What else is going on in your world?
Well, I'm kind of just chilling. We just went on that adventure to Houston, to Texas, and went exploring. And this weekend is a recoup week. We're gonna just hunker down and chill for the week. We're actually gonna do that for a couple weekends before, in about a month, we're gonna be coming down for some Christmas. So right after Thanksgiving, we're gonna be coming down to your neck of the woods down in Denver for some Christmas extravaganza fun activities, to
16th
say the
Street,
least,
baby. Yep, Denver's got it.
which will have to be documented.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Good. And that's good. I'm super stoked that y'all are coming, and super, super stoked that y'all are coming then, because it's enjoyable to see the sights. If nothing more, Chris provides an opportunity for there to be some, for some reason, very nostalgic feelings. A lot of them. It stirs up a lot of nostalgia. Does it not?
That's good.
Well, it does for me anyway.
I don't know about nostalgia. That's
Well,
good. I mean, I'm glad you like our company because I feel, I would feel pretty bad otherwise.
no, matter of fact, I can't get enough of it. So yeah, come down here every single weekend until the end of the year, and then we'll talk about next year. Fair enough?
Okay. Well, sounds good. So, what about you? What's going on in your area? What's going on in your world? Anything
Okay,
new?
so well, I mean, there was something new that I experienced today. You want to guess what it is? It was a day off. It wasn't a vacation day, it was a holiday. I've never taken off for a holiday. QTS, the
You mean
company
like a
that
day off?
well, QTS, the company I'm here representing in Denver, veterans are a very big part of their company, very big part. And there's a lot of honor given to them, rightfully so. We don't give enough. But yeah, today was Veterans Day. I had the day off, and it was really kind of cool. I can't remember the last time I took a day off in the middle of the week for a holiday. So, that was kind of a new thing for me today. Other people may get it all the time. I don't know. You didn't, I'm
Did
guessing.
it make you go stir crazy, or did you actually capitalize and get some stuff done?
A little bit of nothing on the first part. I didn't go stir crazy. What I did was I turned my alarm off before I went to bed last night, and I slept until, instead of sleeping till 3:30, I slept until 4. But I only got up to use the restroom and then go back to bed. So I stayed in bed probably, I don't know, till 9 o'clock this morning, and I caught up on a lot of sleep, and I needed it, quite
Well, that's
frankly.
good.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's needed.
Yes, yes, it is. So I got that, and nothing else new besides that. Still pretty excited about this church here. I'm looking forward to this Sunday, because they're starting to lean into Christmas, or Thanksgiving, excuse me. They're starting to lean into Thanksgiving a little bit, and so I know that there's some activity there. And Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays.
You were catching up on some sleep.
Yep, caught up on a lot of sleep, and enjoyed the day. I did. I did a few things to the underside of the RV because I'm prepping it for winter, the rest of the way for winter. Got a few things I'll do finish this weekend, and I'll be done. I'm going to stack around 35, 40 bales of hay around it to break the
Whoa.
wind. Yeah, I'm gonna do like I did when I was in Lost Cabin, Wyoming, over that winter. And when you stack the bales of hay a certain way, especially when the snow falls, they turn into a wall that will stop the wind from going under the RV and hitting the pipes. Even though I'm really insulating and making it ready, it's going to be completely ready by this weekend. I'm pretty
Good,
excited.
good, good. Prepping for
Yep.
winter.
Yes,
Another
sir.
drawback of Wyoming. I won't get too deep into it. I'm just going to leave it at that. We'll wrap it up here, even, just so I don't go into a Wyoming tangent. But
Hmm.
with that, we've talked about ice cream. We've talked about some thoughts on, where we are as far as a generation, both young and old and older. And, a recap of what we've done this week, both you and I.
Yep.
I feel like,
Yep.
it's going to be another one of those weeks. What are your guys' thoughts as far as your favorite ice cream? What new desserts did you guys try? Leave us
Yep.
a comment down below and let us know your thoughts on maybe a ice cream alternative or nitrogen infused ice cream place that you know of that we can try, especially in the Denver area, and your thoughts on if the younger generation has an obligation to helping the poor or the homeless
Yes. The
community,
poor and the homeless. That's right.
the poor and the homeless. And then just let us know your thoughts. Get in touch with us. You can find us at Duo Jive on both Instagram, TikTok, all of the above. Give us a follow on whatever you're listening to us on, Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff.
Right
And
on.
wrap it up there.
That's right. It was a good show, bro.
Yes, sir. And remember, live life to the fullest.
Amen. I like it.